This almost never happens. Star Wars news usually comes with an asterisk, a caveat, a reminder to manage expectations. But this time, this is actually great news. Because for the first time in a long time, Star Wars didn't just change direction. It chose the right one.
This will begin to make things right.
For years, Star Wars fans have been waiting for those words to mean something again, and now they finally might. Why this moment matters. Leadership matters in Star Wars more than almost any franchise. Because Star Wars isn't just a series of movies, it's a modern myth. It's about legacy, about themes that repeat across generations, about stories that rhyme. When leadership works, Star Wars feels timeless. When it doesn't, it feels fragmented, like different people are telling different stories in the same universe. That's why this announcement matters so much. Kathleen Kennedy stepping down as president of Lucasfilm and Dave Filoni stepping into creative leadership isn't just a corporate change. It's a statement about what Star Wars is going to be. And to understand why fans are reacting so strongly, we have to talk honestly and fairly about what went wrong. The Kennedy era, where things broke down. This part needs to be said carefully. Kathleen Kennedy is not a villain. Her resume is legendary. She helped produce some of the greatest films ever made. But running Lucasfilm required something very specific. A single, unified, creative vision for Star Wars. And that's where the problems began. Number 1. No unified sequel trilogy plan. The most commonly cited failure, and for good reason, was the lack of an overarching plan for the sequel trilogy. The Force Awakens set up Rey's mysterious origins, Luke's exile, Snoke as a looming threat, the idea that the past still mattered. Then The Last Jedi deliberately subverted or discarded many of those setups. Then The Rise of Skywalker reversed course again, reintroducing ideas that had already been dismissed. This wasn't bold storytelling, it was creative whiplash. Fans weren't reacting to one controversial movie. They were reacting to a trilogy that didn't feel like it knew where it was going. Star Wars had always been about long-form mythic storytelling. For the first time, it felt improvised. Number 2. Treating subversion as a goal, not a tool. Subversion can be powerful, but in Star Wars, subversion only works when it serves the myth. During the Kennedy era, subversion often felt like the point itself. Luke Skywalker as a disillusioned hermit. The Jedi portrayed as fundamentally flawed beyond repair. The idea that legacy itself was something to reject. These ideas aren't inherently bad, but they were introduced without adequate groundwork and without emotional payoff. Instead of challenging the myth, they often felt like they were tearing it down. Fans didn't feel challenged, they felt dismissed. Number 3, the mishandling of legacy characters. One of the greatest assets Disney inherited was the original trilogy characters. Instead of passing the torch with care, those characters were often sidelined or diminished. Han Solo returned, only to repeat his arc and die. Leia was given limited narrative resolution due to real-world tragedy. Luke's heroic journey was reframed almost entirely through failure. This wasn't about realism, it was about tone. Star Wars had always balanced darkness with hope. During this era, hope often felt like an afterthought. Constant creative turnover. Behind the scenes, instability became the norm. Directors were fired mid-production. Films were rewritten late in development. Projects were announced, cancelled, and rebooted. Rogue One required extensive reshoots. Solo famously changed directors halfway through filming.
One man couldn't have done this alone.
Some of these films turned out well, but the pattern mattered. It signaled a lack of confidence in long-term direction, and fans felt that uncertainty on screen. Number 5, losing the Star Wars feeling. More than any specific decision, what fans struggled with was something harder to define. Star Wars stopped feeling like Star Wars. The tone shifted from mythic to meta, from earnest to ironic, from hopeful to cynical. And once that feeling is gone, it's incredibly hard to bring back. Why Dave Filoni is different. This is where the tone of the video changes, because the optimism around Dave Filoni isn't random, it's earned. Number 1, Filoni understands the myth. Dave Filoni didn't just work on Star Wars, he learned it directly from George Lucas. Lucas taught Filoni that Star Wars isn't about plot mechanics. It's about mythic structure. Good versus evil, temptation and redemption, fathers and sons, failure and growth.
You were right about me. Tell your sister. You were right.
Filoni internalized those lessons, and it shows in everything he's touched. Number 2, the Clone Wars, fixing what didn't work. The Clone Wars did something remarkable. It took one of the most criticized eras of Star Wars, the prequels, and made them better retroactively. Anakin Skywalker was transformed from a controversial character into a tragic hero whose fall finally made sense. The Jedi Order became layered, flawed, and believable. The war had consequences. Loss mattered. That's not nostalgia. That's craft. Number 3, respect for legacy without worship. Filoni respects legacy, but he isn't trapped by it. He doesn't tear down the past to build the future. He builds on top of it. Rebels expanded the Force mythology without contradicting it. The Mandalorian introduced new characters while honoring old ones. Ahsoka deepened themes of identity, mentorship, and failure. Filoni understands something crucial. Star Wars fans don't want endless callbacks. They want continuity of meaning. Number 4. Consistency of tone. Perhaps Filoni's greatest strength is consistency. Even when stories take risks, they still feel like Star Wars. There's sincerity, there's heart, there's hope. Even in darkness, that tone is what fans have been missing. Number 5. Earning emotional moments. Under Filoni, emotional moments are earned. Deaths matter, sacrifices matter, redemption is costly. He doesn't rush the payoff, and because of that, when it comes, it lands. What this change really means. This leadership change doesn't magically fix Star Wars overnight. Not every future project will be perfect. Not every fan will agree on every direction. But this moment matters because it signals a return to long-term storytelling, respect for the mythic core, creative leadership rooted in understanding, not reaction. Most importantly, it restores something fans had lost: trust. For the first time in years, Star Wars fans aren't arguing about what went wrong. They're talking about what could go right. Why finally matters. Finally isn't sarcasm. It's relief. It's the feeling of seeing something you love taken seriously again. For years, Star Wars felt like it was apologizing for itself. Now, it feels ready to believe in itself again. And that's why this is great news. Because Star Wars doesn't need to be reinvented. It just needs to be understood. And for the first time in a long time, it is. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. And may the Force be with you, always.